Now, our first worksheet, when we were developing our first worksheet, we were reminded of Declan Kidney, the manager of the Irish rugby team when he was starting the 2008 Six Nations campaign. And he was asked that question by a journalist at that stage: what do you think your chance of success are of winning the Six Nations? And his answer was, I'm not thinking that far ahead, I'm thinking of my next step. And so it is with our first worksheet. We designed it so you're really working on your next step. Your Leaving Cert may be a long way off. It's your next step, your next exam that counts. So this first worksheet is all about revealing to you and helping to shed light on the answer, the question, what do you want? And the answers are revealed using the worksheet over a period of perhaps 2 years. And incidentally, we'd invite you to start this program in 5th year if possible. And setting and resetting targets as you go. Now, let's take a look at an example of one student who did this last year. His name is Peter. Now, Peter came to this process late. He started doing this in September of his final year. And what he did with the worksheet was, he first of all, under subject, you can see there, he put under the subjects he's taken for his Leaving Cert. And then you can see level. He selected the level that he's taken his subject in, whether it was honours or pass. And then he set a target, not for Leaving Cert, but for October. Now, there were no house exams in his school, but he did have some classroom tests. And where he didn't have classroom tests, he went and got some feedback from the teacher about how he was going. And so, in October, just before midterm break, he inputted the results into the actual column there. So straight away, Peter could see how his actual performance was measuring up against his targets. And you can see there that there's one thing about Peter, he's been very realistic, and he did come close on most cases, in most of his subjects, to actually reaching or almost reaching his actual goals and targets. So based on the feedback he got in October, he reset his goals for Christmas. So he set down what his goals were going to be. Now, we want to stress to you, he was realistic. He was basing this on his previous performance. And that's something that's very important I would ask you to do too. So Christmas came and he got his results, and he put his results, the actual results he got in there under the actual Christmas column. And so, immediately after Christmas, he reset his targets for his mocks based on his previous performance. Got the actual results from his mocks, reset his targets for his Leaving Cert, and then his Leaving Cert results. There's another point we'd like to make to you about using this particular worksheet, and that is that we would like you to make reference to the Leaving Cert point system. That is, the system that colleges use to select students for entry into courses. Now, the reason why we ask you to use this system is because it gives you an opportunity to be more precise and more measured and more detailed about your actual performance. For example, you can see here in October when Peter set his targets and he added up all his subjects. He added up using the point system used by third level colleges to add up his total point score over 6 subjects. So he got a very specific score. Even if you're not going to college, we'd ask you to use that point system for the purposes of getting an overall precise measurement of how you're going. So what difference will all this make? What difference will you going to the bother of setting targets and resetting targets and getting feedback make to, your performance? Well, here's a couple of facts I just want to put before you, just to consider. The first fact is that a 10% improvement, and that's not a big ask, and we firmly believe that you can deliver a 10% improvement. An overall 10% improvement in your subject grades could bring you an extra 30, 40, or even 50 points. Just think about it. Now, the next thing is that over 50% of students who miss out on their first CAO course choice, over 50%, do so by 25 points or less. Now, that does not even represent a 10% increase in points. So you can see straight away that it could be very valuable just to engage in this kind of exercise that will bring a greater productivity and efficiency and a better performance. As part of the preparation for this webcast, I decided I would explore just to see what difference points makes in terms of the range of courses open to you. I went to the Careers Portal CAO Wizard page, and what I discovered was when I opted for a range of science courses, chemical, biological and pharmaceutical science courses, and I said, give me all those types of courses on 320 points or less, I came up with a figure of 35 courses. Now, if you were to increase your total point score by 50 points, the number of courses increases to 62. That is, 62 degree level 8 courses are now open to you. That's almost double. So just by increasing 50 points, which represents maybe not much more than 10%, you have a double number of range of courses open to you. But perhaps the greatest reason of all why you should actually engage with us in this process is the satisfaction that you'll get from feeling that you're taking control of your learning. You're taking control of your learning strategies as a student. And by so doing, you're going to bring about greater results. And you know, the skills that you're going to learn from this process of evaluating yourself and making changes based on that evaluation will be very, very good for you going forward into third level or into a future career. Now, moving on, let's take a look at what psychologists tell us about what a good goal-setting strategy is. They say if you can meet the SMART test, then your goal-setting strategy is good. Let's see how we measure up on this. First of all, what we've been asking you to do is set particular subjects and set specific goals. Not only that, we've been asked to convert those goals into a number score, in other words, the point system. So we do definitely measure up there because our strategy does measure up in terms of asking for specific goals. Next, measurable. Yes, this strategy is measurable. You're going to get feedback as you go, and you can see how you're progressing as you go based on readjusting your targets as you go. Next, attainable. Now, we did say that Peter was very realistic when he was setting his results. We would ask you to be the same. And indeed, if you're not realistic, you'll soon be brought down to earth after the first set of feedback results you get from your teachers, because we'll ask you that to base your further targets on that feedback. Relevant. Well, I've given you a few points why I think that this is a very relevant process. The question of greater number of points, opening greater number of choices. But perhaps the most important point of all, the satisfaction and feeling of self-control that this whole process will bring to you. Time bound, well, of course, we are asking you to set targets for specific times of the year and so on. So we do seem to measure up very well against the SMART test.